People had mixed reviews about it. Well, it looked like that wasn't the only clip, because the entire team got in on the action, bro, and they look bad doing it, bro.
Oh no. And I think just getting to see people that have supported me throughout my career and continue to support me.
The Brazilian national team just poked the bear. While practicing at Carver-Hawkeye Arena, they deliberately danced on Caitlin Clark's logo and took mocking shots from her signature spot, a direct taunt that's spreading like wildfire across social media. Imagine returning to your college home court where you broke records and became a legend, only to find out a team was disrespecting your legacy there. That's exactly what Clark is dealing with right now. The question isn't if she'll respond, it's how many points she'll drop on Brazil when they face off. The Fever might have defensive struggles, but motivation won't be an issue in this game. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. What precisely transpired at Carver-Hawkeye Arena then? Everyone is talking about the viral video.
Tonight, man, when I came across the footage of the Brazilian national team dancing on Caitlin Clark logo, talking.
Yeah, getting to go back to Iowa, it's so exciting. I obviously haven't really been there much since I left about a year ago.
Attempts at making Caitlin Clark's iconic shot.
Look at that.
On the tennis floor, members of the Brazilian national team were seen actually dancing on Caitlin Clark's emblem. They weren't only warming up, they had gathered on Clark's designated position on purpose, dancing and laughing as they took pictures from her famous viewpoint. This was no unintentional slight. They were fully aware of their actions. Let's not forget what Caitlin Clark values about Carver-Hawkeye Arena. This basketball court isn't your typical one. She rose to fame at this point, where she scored more points than any other player in NCAA history. Every other night she made SportsCenter by hitting those absurd logo threes, where hundreds of thousands of young ladies wearing number 22 shirts turned up.
People had mixed reviews about it. Well, it looked like that wasn't the only clip, because the entire team got in on the action, bro, and they look bad doing it, bro.
Oh no. And I think just getting to see people that have supported me throughout my career and continue to support me.
Clark's journey from Iowa freshman to basketball superstar is chronicled in this court. Her grandeur is etched in every inch of that oak. It is not a coincidence that the Brazilian team practiced the logo. They deliberately gathered there, with many players standing right on it, giggling and acting ostentatious. They imitated Clark's shooting technique by taking turns firing bullets from her well-known logo range. On top of it, one player even performed a little happy dance. All of it was captured on camera, with their expressions demonstrating that they understood the exact message they were conveying. This is our court now. This is disrespectful and goes beyond typical competitive conduct. Look.
Got in on the jumping on Caitlin Clark logo, stomping on it, dancing on it, shooting from it. And Caitlin Clark's number should be somewhere over there. There, go way in the back there. You guys see Caitlin Clark retired number up there on the raft.
Incredible, but also like they're the biggest Indiana Fever fans too now. Like they want to meet all my teammates. They want to cheer for my teammates.
Basketball involves trash talk, chest bumping, flexing, and stare downs following huge plays are all acceptable. But focusing on someone's home court history on purpose before you've even faced them, that's not the same. They weren't merely attempting to excite themselves. Clark was the target of their message, which questioned not only her as a player, but also her entire Iowa heritage.
Mighty good time at Carver Arena, dog. Now, if you guys don't know, today is the day Caitlin Clark will make her return. Them doing this is very bad. Oh man, this is bad for them, bro. Caitlin Clark finna come out and put the beast on them.
It's much more deliberate because of the timing. This was no haphazard exercise. This occurred just prior to their exhibition matchup with Clark and the Indiana Fever. Because it was Clark's return to Iowa, the game was already unique. What ought to have been a celebration of Clark's return home was transformed into something more intimate by the Brazilian team. It's obvious that they want to influence her before the ball ever tips off. Let's face it, this is consistent with a trend that has existed since Clark joined the WNBA. Do you recall when Angel Reese gestured to Clark that "you can't see me"? What about during the preseason when she was subjected to excessive physical contact by the Chicago Sky? Or when league veterans commented that she was receiving too much attention?
And quite frankly, it'll take 2 Chicago Sky teams just to beat this Indiana Fever basketball team, bro. Now, we've seen what the Chicago Sky did, man. They showed no mercy. And we already know the Sky ain't the damn Fever.
Since day one, opponents have attempted to take Clark off her game. During real games, the difference is typically maintained on the court. Before the competition even began, Brazil brought it home. What started out as a simple demonstration game has evolved into a must-watch television program. Everyone is curious about Clark's reaction. Is she going to come out on top? If she makes a big shot, will she get in their faces? The plot has entirely changed. This is now a personal preseason tune-up, not just another one. The problem is that Clark has a track record of putting on amazing performances in response to disrespect. She lost by 30 points, even though the LSU players were trash-talking during the championship game. She recovered from a rough start to her WNBA career by scoring 30 points versus New York. The numbers are clear. Clark averages 4 more points and 2 more assists in games following public taunts or challenges. She uses the noise as fuel for her rocket, not merely to hear it. This disregard extends beyond Clark's performance.
Back in Iowa City to play at that very same arena, man, she broke that scoring record at.
And I was telling some of the girls this the other day, I'm like, they're going to go crazy for you too. They're going to have your back.
It directly challenges her Iowa legacy. By effectively putting their flag on her land, the Brazilian team declared, "Your history here doesn't scare us." They want to know if she will defend her home court, the one where she rose to fame. When she competes internationally in her hometown, it's unclear if her supremacy in Iowa will translate. The stage is set for something remarkable as Clark returns to Iowa with this additional drive. The fact that it was her first time returning to the Iowa supporters who had cheered her on during her collegiate career made the homecoming already emotional. Add to that the added pressure of protecting her honor following the rude performance of the Brazilian team. A memorable performance could result from Clark's competitive spirit and her desire to defend her home court.
I think that's what I appreciate about them the most is like they want to cheer not only for myself, but everybody else on this team, and this will be the loudest arena you have ever played in. They're gonna scream, they're gonna cheer.
With their logo dance, the Brazilian squad believed they were making a statement. In actuality, they may have sparked something far more dangerous. A Caitlin Clark who has something to prove in front of her most devoted followers. It is possible that the Brazilian team has just provoked an unmanageable situation. Clark is back on her home court with something to prove, and she plays her best basketball when she's upset. This is now a personal game rather than merely an exhibition one. "I think at the end of the day, we're all competitors and we're here to win, right?" stated Sophie Cunningham. In order to respond to this disrespect on the floor, the Fever are uniting behind Clark. The basketball world is watching and tickets cost $450. Will Clark's next 40-point performance be inspired by the Brazilian team's brief logo dance? We will soon find out.